So how I found a job in Germany. So last year in 2025, I was unemployed and I was looking for a job. And I want to share here my personal experience, how my job search went, and also, want to say how in the end I really found a job. So I have been looking now, it was like the third time in my professional life that I had been looking for a job, and it was the first time that I looked for a job while I was unemployed. So this was new for me. I was not thinking when I studied for 5 years that one day I would be really, unemployed and I would struggle to find a job. And furthermore, people were telling me that there are lots of jobs and that I should not worry about it. But in the end, I really struggled, but in the end, I managed. So first of all, what you need to know about me is that I'm a native German. So I speak German since it's my mother tongue. And I was looking for a job in the field of marketing communications because I was doing a traineeship in that field, and I had around 5 years of professional experience when I searched. And I was really not thinking it would be so difficult. But that's another topic. So overall, I was sending in total around 120 applications to companies. And I was searching for a job for several months during the year. And I was also checking my numbers, so how many interviews I had approximately. So that's an estimation. I think I had around 30 online interviews approximately. And I had around 12 or 14 interviews at the place of companies, so where I had to drive to. And it was really interesting. So I saw during the whole year also how companies are offering jobs and how they are not doing it. So when it's the vacation period, for example. And how I was searching for a job was that I first of all checked on LinkedIn regularly, and I was putting an alarm on LinkedIn to kind of send me suitable jobs. But I also realized that in the end I got flooded with a lot of jobs which were not really recent overall, which were not accurate choices. And second, I also checked regularly for jobs on Stepstone, which is a job portal which is relatively known in Germany, and on Indeed. But here I had the same struggle. So I realized that a lot of jobs were from weeks ago that they were published on these platforms. And for me, it looks like the companies are publishing these jobs and then they have some sort of interfaces or something that their job offers are distributed on different websites. But often that's like weeks after they really published the job. So I also had the impression that here a lot of jobs were not really current jobs anymore, and they already found a person for their position overall. And I also checked for jobs on the social media network Xing, which is less popular than LinkedIn, but still, especially for the German market, there are sometimes some jobs that you can find there, but I also didn't find anything relevant. Otherwise, I also asked people in my network, so like friends of friends or former colleagues, for example, if they knew anything or if they had any sort of recommendation. Please feel free to keep me in the loop or keep me updated. But I also had no success in that regard. The other thing I also did, I checked for the town where I live in Germany, because they have their own portal online, so where they publish news about the town. And there's also a job portal where you can check for local jobs, and I applied here as well. Then also what I did in order to find a job, I thought, okay, which companies are there in the region or in the bigger towns? And I went on their websites really, and I checked which job offers are currently published. And there were also a few companies that I was really interested in. And then what I did was I sent an Initiativbewerbung, so a spontaneous application to these companies, so that there is no concrete job being published, but still I want to show you that I'm very interested and that I can bring these and these talents for you. But yeah, this was also not successful either. And then when several months passed and I was not understanding why I didn't find anything. I was also thinking, and I was reading about it on Reddit also, that the communications and marketing field is very dead overall. There are way more people who want to work or who already work in this field that there are really concrete job offers. And also what is an immense issue in this field is AI in the end, especially, for example, for writing texts or this. It's very, very difficult nowadays to find a job in that field. So at a certain point, I became very desperate. And I also had a lot of quite strange job interview situations with strange questions. So some job interviews, they went well and I had a very good experience, but others, were quite negative, quite strange. And so, I want to give also a certain point of view about this now. So some interviews went so good. They went so well that I was thinking, I think I have very good chances and I'm quite confident that I will be taken. But then you realize it already that after a certain week or a certain days or when certain time passes and you didn't hear from them, then you're not the candidate that they chose. And so I had maybe 3-4 applications where I really thought, they will take me. And in the end, I didn't get the job. And this has never happened before. So I was applying in 2021 and in 2019 for jobs as well. And for these, in these years, I never struggled like I struggled last year in the end. And there were also other job interviews where I was thinking from the beginning, this doesn't make sense, or the company, the potential boss is not, like, that's not a match with me overall, and you can sense it from the very beginning. Or, for example, there was an interview where they were really asking me like 3-4 times, but do you think that this job would be a fit for you? Are you really sure? And so I was thinking, but why did they even invite me to the interview if they already had doubts if I'm the right candidate for their job? And in this case, I actually stopped the interview before the end. So I had never done this. It was an online interview. And I really said, I don't think that makes sense to continue overall. I felt quite strange after that. But on the other hand, why should I lose my time and why should they lose their time if already it's such a mismatch overall? Another time I also realized that this will never be a fit overall with the potential boss. But the thing is, this was a physical job interview and I had gone there 20-30 minutes by car already. And so I sort of passed the time there and I was thinking, no, it's also quite strange to leave after 5-10 minutes, even though I knew that I could have gone, but still I was there. And this was also a very strange experience overall. And apart from this, I also want to talk about concrete tasks that I had to do in job interviews in Germany. So, for example, once I got invited for a second interview. So the first interview was online and the second interview was at the company side. And I had to do a presentation. I had to prepare this presentation in advance and then show it when I was there. And it was supposed to be a presentation about the company, about what the company's products are, what are the technologies that they use. And then, they gave me feedback based on the presentation that I had prepared. Another job interview I had where I had to do a certain task was that I was shown certain emails, for example, and I had to say which email I would prioritize as an example and what would I do afterwards, how would I follow up concretely. And another example I have was also related to an email, so I still have it here. It was called a case study for a marketing position. And the first thing I was supposed to do was also to write an email. about a new product that the company is launching, and that, the company wants to do advertisement at a magazine, and then you have been in contact with the editor, and then you need to do a follow-up and confirm the placement for the interview, and then you had several guidelines that should be mentioned in the email, and you had to write this email. And the other scenario was that you were working on a marketing plan for the new product and the launch will be soon. And then you have a $25,000 budget and you need to decide which banners, which formats you want to use, which magazines you want to use. And you need to calculate then if you match the $25,000. And you needed to argumentate why you chose this and why you took this or that decision. And I had the impression I did that quite well, but also this led to nowhere. Yeah. And then what happened was, what I did afterwards was that I went on Google Maps and I really checked companies in my surrounding. And I ended up to look at companies in the town where I live. And I found a company that had a banner that they are open to new workforce overall, and who is interested can contact them. And this is in the end how I really found my job. So in the end, I didn't find my job through an official job portal or through job searches online on LinkedIn or other social media platforms. I really found my job through Google Maps in the end, which I find quite astonishing overall. And I want to say that in the future, if I had to at some point again look for another job in Germany, I think I would do also quite courageous things at some point and not only rely on these official job portals, because it's not always up to date. And it seems also a lot of ghost jobs are there. So jobs that companies don't even want to fill with people. So I want to say, think about going a bit beyond your boundaries. And for example, I'm also thinking in the future, to be a bit, to do things that are unusual overall. So what I want to say with this is that also me as a German native, I struggled so much. And so, for example, for expats that, for example, want to focus on English-speaking jobs, it must be also immensely difficult now to really find a job. And sometimes I was reading about it in the media that it's difficult to find a job now, but I think it's not reflecting the situation that it's really immensely difficult at the moment. And that, you need to continue to look. And you will succeed, but the way to the end, but the way can be really challenging, and you need to be careful to not give up at a certain point. And in case you have certain questions about procedures, how to write a CV in Germany, which companies to target, feel free also to drop a comment or to send me a message on my Instagram account.